Hey everybody, how's it going? Kelly from MAMG Let's Play here, and it looks like the wait is finally over. The channel actually hit 900 subscribers not too long ago. I think it was yesterday actually, or the day before. But as I always like to do, I like to wait a day or two to make sure it doesn't drop down because YouTube does purging and all that fun stuff. But it looks like it's holding steady at like 900. So thank you guys so much for 900 subscribers. Like, this channel has been growing quite a bit over the past few months, and I'm really excited about it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your stay. You guys seem to be enjoying the content, so I'm really excited to see where we'll be able to go in the future. But as promised, I'm going to be doing a 900 subscriber Q&A video today in order to celebrate the fact that the channel has made it this far. So I haven't looked at these questions at all. I'm not sure what I'm going to be running into, but I think I'm just going to start from the bottom and work my way up. I don't know if it's based on like time or how it's organized, but I will try to get through everybody's questions as quickly and as honestly, I think, as I can. Unless it's a joke question, then maybe I'll give it a joke answer. Who knows? I don't know what I'm doing. It's the first time I've tried it. But anyways, let's jump into it and see what kind of questions you guys wanted to ask. You seem to really enjoy RPG Maker and other similar genres of development software, Wolf RPG. Have you ever tried to make a game yourself or just take a little closer look at the development process? I myself am a practicing developer, and it changes the way I feel a little when I play games because I can tell what's probably going on in the coding underneath. Sometimes it helps me know what to do better than the average player, other times it's a bother because I feel like critiquing someone's eventing or whatever when I should just be playing. Okay, honestly, I haven't really thought about making a game myself. I'm amazed at the amount of talent that's out there and the people who can make games, but I don't really think I'm the type of person who can. And I know that's kind of bad of me to say, but there's just so much that goes into it, from making the game and the story, making it engaging, and the pacing, the art style, everything. Like, it's insane to me how people can actually do that. The people who make these games, whether they're AAA titles or, you know, games that you've never heard of and they're super obscure, it takes a lot of talent and dedication to make them. And that's exactly why I like to play these indie games. I like to showcase people out there who are working just day and night on what they're passionate about. And 9 times out of 10, it's not what they do for a living. It's something that they just want to do in order to make themselves better at something, you know, or they just had this little idea that's been bugging them in their head and they want to make a story out of it. So props to everybody who does do that. I don't see myself doing it anytime in the future, but you never know. I may be inspired by all these amazing people who have been making games. Although I don't know if I would go with horror, because I would just end up scaring myself too much. I'd probably go with like a mystery or a mystery horror, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I would do, but yeah, it's going to be a ways before I actually make a game or anything like that. Can you draw? Not necessarily. I mean, I had this phase in like middle school and high school where I would draw, you know, like anime or manga characters, but I really wouldn't say that was me being able to draw. It's more seeing something and replicating it or attempting to replicate it. There were a lot of pictures that weren't that great, but I did doodle a lot. I drew a lot of like Dragon Ball or Detective Conan. Tried to do some Full Metal Alchemist, like nothing good. But there was a point in time where I could kind of like look at something and mimic it to a certain extent, but there's no way. Like, I wouldn't be able to draw anything for myself, like my own logo or anything like that. There's no way I'd be able to do anything like that. How long have you been playing games, and how long have you had this channel? Actually, I've had this channel for quite some time now. I think it's coming up on 3 years this October. I think October 30th is actually the 3-year anniversary of the channel. So I've had the channel for quite some time. I just never really found that stride until not too long ago. And I think that's what's really helped the channel grow, is I've kind of, instead of chasing what everybody else has been doing, I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play these games, and they may not be the most well known, but it's what I enjoy. And if people like that, then that's what's important. If people enjoy what I do, then cool. If not, then that's totally fine, because there's hundreds of thousands of other YouTubers out there that play, you know, more popular or mainstream games. So that's kind of my attempt at making myself a little bit more unique. I'm not saying I'm the only person that plays the games that I do, but that's kind of how I've approached it. So I've had the channel for 3 years, but the approach and what I've been doing on it has changed drastically. I've been playing games since I was a kid. I mean, I remember playing like Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo, or Excite Bike used to be one of my favorite games. So I've grown up playing video games for my entire life, essentially. Like, I just got born at a really good time, I guess. And so I've been very fortunate in that matter. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about the fact that I've had this channel for 3 years already. Did you ever have a pet? I did, but I wouldn't really say it was like my pet specifically. It was more like a family pet. But we've had several pets over the years. I haven't had any since I've moved out of my parents' place and lived on my own. But it's just one of those things where I don't think it's really that great. And I know there's people out there like, oh, you should get a dog or a cat or all these different things. But like, I just see it from the other end of like, oh my God, they're going to be chewing through all my stuff and like all this stuff is going to happen to my filming equipment and things like that. So I'm not really that like prone to getting a pet. Like I wouldn't get one of my own accord. I know that like Amanda wants to get one eventually, but right now with like the whole you have to pay a pet fee when you get a a pet in an apartment and things like that, I don't really think it's the best idea to do it. But that doesn't mean I haven't had any. The only time I could think of having a pet that was like specifically mine was like in middle school when I had like a hamster. But other than that, we've had like dogs and cats in the family. They just I don't know, they were like family pets and I didn't really consider them mine. There was a cat that gravitated more towards me, but everybody in the family was allergic to it, so we ended up giving the cat to my grandma. And then we had a dog, which it's not the dog's fault at all. But I think my mom and my brother got the dog from the Humane Society, and clearly it had gone through some traumatic experiences with men. Like there was something about being around men that really made her afraid. So she wasn't really welcoming to any of us besides my mom. Like she would run away. Like if any of us tried to pet her or anything, like me, my dad, my brother, any of us tried to approach her, she would be terrified. So again, I think we ended up giving my dog or that dog to my grandma too. So we've had pets. They just don't really last. They either run away or we just end up giving them away because we're all allergic or something like that. So yes, I've had a pet. No, I don't see myself getting one in the near future. What is your favorite genre in games and why? If I had to pick one specific genre, mystery. 100% mystery games. I love mystery games so much because, especially the good ones that make you think. I seem to like the ones that have a lot darker of a theme, like Danganronpa or, the Virtues, Last Reward, or the Zero Escape series, I guess, in general. Those that kind of like have this more evil layer to them than say like just solving a mystery, like a murder mystery. But I've always loved mystery stuff. Like whenever I watched shows or animes or read manga, 90% of the time it was mystery related because I love those. I love being able to like, okay, so here's the thing. Here's my thought process on it is like a mystery story, a good mystery story is something that has to be realistically achievable. You can't just be like, oh, this room is locked and this person teleported in and that's how they got there. Like you can't just make an excuse for it. There has to be an actual logical explanation as to why somebody's somewhere or why someone was killed, things like that. And so I've always enjoyed mysteries like that where there's always the answers there, and you may not be able to see all the pieces when you first approach it, but when you go back and revisit it, hopefully if it's a well written or well directed mystery, you're able to catch those things afterwards and realize that the answer was there all along. So I love mystery stuff. At the same time though, I do love kind of like the cheesy action games like Uncharted, Tomb Raider to an extent is kind of cheesy action. I'm not really into like specifically shooters, but if I had to pick another genre, maybe just like the ones where you can shut your brain off and things are just kind of going crazy and you just sit in the moment and enjoy it. Those are the other kind of games that I like. Did you watch Danganronpa 3, the anime? Oh, you bet I did. I watched that every Monday and Thursday. I was so into it and it was so interesting to say the least because like I don't want to say it was like the best anime out there. Obviously that would be a pretty high hurdle to clear, but there were some things like a lot of us were messaging each other back and forth as it was happening. And it's just one of those things where some things were executed really well. Other things I felt like could have been done a lot better, but what can you do in the 12 episode arc? It's just really hard to tell, but I really, really did enjoy the entire story. Like if you look at it in its entirety, it was a really good season. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the third game. But yeah, I was completely invested in making sure I watched Danganronpa the day it released, unless Funimation delayed it because they're a bunch of jerks. But other than that, I mean, which they technically couldn't help. But either way, yeah, I did watch it for sure. What's your favorite movie? Ooh, that's a tough one. Because I have different genres that I like. If I had to say my all-time favorite movie just in general, it's probably going to surprise a lot of people because like people know me for either this gaming channel or the fact that I have like a martial arts movie website. So you may think that I would say like a Jackie Chan movie, but if I had to pick one movie that was like above everything else, it'd probably be Lilo and Stitch because I love that movie. I could watch that movie every single day and not get sick of it. I love it so, so much. Otherwise, there's a ton of Jackie Chan movies that I really, really enjoy because they pretty much like were a staple in my childhood. But yeah, favorite movie? Definitely Lilo and Stitch. What mascot would you like? A little mice styled from Sweet Fuse or something else? I don't know. I love Mai. Mai is adorable. If you guys haven't seen her, I may post a picture of her somewhere in this area. Who knows? But yeah, she's from the Sweet Fuse At Your Side game that I've been playing, which I know there's not a ton of people following, but if you have been watching it, you guys know how adorable she is. I wouldn't mind having a mascot like that, but I don't know. I never really thought about that. Like, I just like the Chibi Me for now. Maybe if the channel gets really, really big, we'll have to worry about having a mascot, but obviously we can't use Mai specifically because she's like a copywritten character, so it'd have to be an original character. I don't know, is there like a certain theme or animal or person that you guys think of when you think of the channel? I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but right now I guess I'm just kind of riding this wave as it is, and I'll worry about a mascot or something like that as the channel moves forward. But if you guys have any suggestions, maybe let me know. Who are you? No kidding, I want to know a bit more about your biography, like a short introduction. There's really not a lot to me. I've really tried to figure out, even when I did my 800 subscriber video, like if there's something interesting about me, but there's really not. I mean, there were the things like I was born in an apartment. Some people will or won't believe that I'm actually 31 years old because I don't act it at all. But other than that, you know, being half Japanese, I've grown up in Kansas for most of my life. I lived in Minnesota for about 3 years, and I've been in Georgia now for about 5. So I've moved around a little bit, but it's not like I'm a seasoned traveler or anything. But right now, I'm just doing YouTube for fun. Other than that, I work at a retail store. So if I'm not at work, I'm usually at home, just hanging out and just having a good time. But I'm pretty introverted. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm a pretty introverted person. I don't like to be surrounded by a bunch of people, which is kind of weird when you think about it, but I really do enjoy that kind of like just zone out and chill out type of atmosphere. So usually I'll just hang out at home and either work on YouTube videos or listen to some music or, you know, whatever I can to just kind of pass the time. And then if Amanda and I are both off, then we may go out for a little bit, but it's usually just the two of us. Nobody else really tags along. I don't have a huge circle of friends or anything. So it's really, what you see is pretty much what you got. I'm sorry. If there's anything more specific, I'd be more than happy to answer it. But thinking on my own, I don't know. My little brother's a rapper, which is weird, and I'm sure most people know that by now. But yeah, it's just my mom's Japanese, my dad's American, my brother's a rapper, and I don't know why. And here I am just kind of playing around with YouTube and having fun at the same time. What are some of your favorite games growing up? And did you dabble in playing Japanese games often? Do you play on any consoles? Also, what would you consider to be your favorite game of all time? Whew, okay. Well, I definitely had a ton of favorite games when I was growing up. I'm trying to think of what I really got into when I was younger. Like, I loved Excitebike for the Nintendo, which is super, super old now. Of course, all the Mario games and things like that. I was very like Nintendo specific when I was younger because we had the Nintendo. Then we went to the Super Nintendo, which is when I had a lot of Japanese games. We'd go to Japan and I would just buy a ton of Super Nintendo games, bring them back, play them. And I have thought about playing like some of those on the channel, like the ones that I used to grow up playing. I don't know how well it's gonna work because a lot of them were like specific to animes and game or shows and things like that. So I don't know if they would really make any sense for anybody, but it would be kind of fun for me to go back and take a walk down memory lane, if you know what I mean. But as for whether or not I play on any consoles, right now I've got the PS3, PS4, and of course I have the PlayStation TV or the Vita for my recording purposes. Other than that, I've got my 3DS and a Wii. So I have some consoles. I don't have a ton. I've never owned like a Microsoft console. It's not because I'm a Sony fanboy or anything. I'm just more used to the PlayStation controller. When there's a QuickTime event that pops up and it's like hit circle, I'm like, got it. But when an Xbox controller is in my hands and it's like hit B or X or Y, I just my head explodes and then my character dies because I don't know what I'm doing. So that's more the reason why I haven't had like a Microsoft console. But even the PlayStation system that I have, it's not connected online. Like I had the PlayStation Plus Pass to play Resident Evil 7's demo. I had it for 3 months. Never played online once, and then it just expired. So I just realized that I'm just not a type of person who enjoys playing online with other people, with all the talking back and forth. I just want to focus on the story or whatever's going on and just like block everything else out. So I do have consoles, I just play them completely by myself. Oh yeah, and then also, what was my favorite game of all time? If I had to pick one specific game, I think it would be Okami. Okami was definitely an amazingly beautiful game. I loved the artwork, the story, everything about it was just amazing. And it almost felt like it was ahead of its time because it came out right when Twilight Princess came out. So a lot of people were already burned out on the wolf style mechanic. But that game was so underrated, and I really, really wish that more people were able to play it. I've thought about playing it for the channel, but that game is upwards of like 70, 80 hours long, so we'd have to figure out a different way to do that one. But yeah, I think my all-time favorite game would definitely be Okami. Okay, super generic question, but what 3 things would you bring if you were stranded on an island? Okay, so how should I go about this? I've never really thought about that. Like, should I go the more proper route and pick like 3 specific items, or do I want to be like a jet plane so I can get off the island? Nah, that wouldn't be any fun. Okay, so let's think about like 3 items. Like if I had to 100% live on that island, and we'll say that housing is already covered. Like we'll say I have a house and maybe some air conditioning. Okay, it's my little head fantasy. I can make it how I want it to be. What 3 things would I bring? I don't know. I would definitely bring some books like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. That is probably my favorite novel. I love that one so much. But other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything specific that I could do over and over again, because I don't want to say like the internet and then I just pass my time like that. That's not fun. So what else would I bring? Another thing that I would definitely have to bring is my MP3 player or some kind of music player, because I need music to survive. Like I need something playing in the background nonstop in order to make myself sane. So I definitely need an MP3 player. Probably going to be 90% K-pop. I'm sorry for those of you that don't like K-pop, but it is super addicting. So I'd probably say that, and if not that, then definitely Utada's latest CD, because that's another thing I've been really addicted to. I'm so glad she's back. Other than that, I'm going to be a little bit cheesy and we'll just say I'll bring my girlfriend along with me, because hopefully she'll want to come. Otherwise, it's going to be very just awkward and sad all by myself. What is your favorite manga so far? If you haven't read any, then your favorite, I'm guessing, anime. I'm going to go ahead and say I have read plenty of manga, but if I had one series that I really liked more than any other, it would be GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka. It's not perfect. It's not the best manga out there ever, but for some reason I really resonated with the main character. For those of you that don't know, basically it's about a biker gang, like street thug, that kind of grew up into an adult and decided he wanted to be a teacher for not the most noble of reasons. But the thing is, he has a really strong moral compass, and it works within the framework because in Japan, there's a lot of like formalities and things that you have to do, but since he's a thug, he doesn't really listen to what he's supposed to do. He does what is the right thing, and it's really interesting to see. They made an anime, but the anime is not really that good. The manga's really good, and then they also had a drama that had Akira from Exile, and he does a fantastic job of kind of encompassing the serious and goofy sides of Onizuka. So if you haven't seen it, I would definitely suggest that, but that's definitely my favorite manga series. What are your favorite games that you played thus far? Also, what dark ritual did you perform to become so great? I'm not that great, I promise you. If I did perform a dark ritual and this is my peak, then it's going to be kind of sad too. But I really do this for fun, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy what I do. I know it's not for everybody, but it's a ton of fun for me, and the community is really what makes it the best. So you guys are the ones that make it great. So what dark ritual did you guys perform to be part of my audience? I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's fun, and I'm glad you guys are here. But also, it said, what are your favorite games that you played thus far? If we're talking about on the channel specifically, I would say that the ones that you guys have recommended to me and that kind of like I never would have played unless I had the channel would definitely have been like Steins Gate. Never heard of Steins Gate before I made this channel, and I didn't even know how amazing it was. I love Steins Gate now. I did know about Danganronpa, but I probably wouldn't have ever played it if I didn't think it was going to be something fun for the channel. The Hyperdimension Tunia games are definitely very interesting. I didn't think I was going to like them. When I watched the trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, it's going to be like one of those games. But it is a lot of fun, and I have found myself being very hooked into it. Otherwise, Sweet Fuse is another game that I never would have played. It's a dating simulator, but for some reason it's very interesting. Like it's got a layered story, and it's so much fun. Like no matter how many times you go back through the story, something new pops up. So that's really cool. Otherwise, for the like indie RPG maker side of things, there was a game called Enigma that I played a few years back, which I still think was really, really great. It's not like mechanic wise the best game, but the story was really interesting because of the fact that there were actual different endings, and like different people died based on what you chose, and there were different culprits and things like that. And I've never seen a game really kind of take it to that level. Also, it was in Korean, so it had a Korean drama style approach to everything, and it was a lot of fun. But I would say those were the games that were really like stand out to me in my head. I'm sure I'm going to think of some more after the video's done filming, but for now I think that would be the ones that I've remembered as of this moment. Have you ever played a game and then go back and see how many glitches you can do, EXP glitch, out the map glitch, etc.? I don't think I ever have. There was in Final Fantasy VII, I took advantage of one of the glitches so I could beat the game, which was like an item thing. Oh, and of course like Pokemon, you could clone items. But other than that, I don't think I've gone back and like specifically tried to glitch out a game. They typically just glitch out on my own. Like I'll be playing it and something terrible will happen that the developers didn't expect anybody to do. I remember playing Gears of War when I used to live with a couple roommates. I borrowed their Xbox just to see what it was like, and the next thing I know, my character's head is in the ceiling and I just spin and I can't do anything else. So things like that happen all the time. I tend to break games when I play them, but it's not intentional. Not at all intentional. What made you want to start a YouTube channel? Aside from that, I love your videos and hope you keep up the great work. Oh, thank you. That was really sweet. I think the main reason why I started the YouTube channel was because it looked fun. I watched a ton of other YouTubers and thought, you know, that's something I've always wanted to do, is just kind of like entertain people, help them get their minds off of something that may be bothering them for whatever span of time it is. At the same time, for me, it was a reason to take a break and kind of like slow things down a little bit. I was very much the type of person that once I'm into something, like if it's work or something like that, I go full speed. It's either 0 or 100 when it comes to things like that. So I needed a reason to take it slow and enjoy my time a little bit more. And I thought, you know what? There's a ton of games that I've been wanting to play that I never got around to, and I've always thought about doing a YouTube channel. Why not give it a try and see how it works? And it's just kind of become this thing now where I look forward to doing it. There are times where it's stressful, of course, but other than that, I've really, really enjoyed the entire experience, and I'm so glad that I did it. How many games have you played? Also, advanced congratulations. Oh, thanks. Yeah, they wrote this a week ago, so it was in advance back then. I was hoping that we would hit 900. Looks like we actually did it. But I don't even know how many games I played. I've played so many games, even on the channel. I think we hit like, somebody said like 1,600 videos? I don't remember putting out that many. There's a lot of me out there, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure it's like in the thousands, to say the least, because I've grown up just playing games from like elementary school on. So there's been a ton. I can't even put a number on it. Do you think you would play the Awakened Fate Ultimatum or Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunter? They're along the line of what you play now, and I feel you would really enjoy them if you gave them a try. I'm not against it. I've heard of Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunter. I haven't heard of the Awakened Fate Ultimatum. But there are a lot of games that I've had suggested to me and games that I've been thinking about putting on the channel. So it's going to be kind of like a juggling thing. It depends on a number of different factors, how long the game is, how long it takes to get through the actual gameplay of it, because a game could be 30 hours long and 15 hours of it could be grinding or, you know, collecting items, things like that. So it really does depend on how I can manage my time to do it, but I'm not against it. Like I said, there's a ton of games that I've played that I didn't think I was going to like and I ended up loving, so I will definitely check them out, but I can't say for sure whether or not I'll be playing them in the near future. With all the scary, creepy games you've played, have any of them made it hard to sleep, given you nightmares, or freaked you out even after you stopped playing them? I've always wondered how too many scary games affect YouTubers. I know I'd be freaked out. There have been some games that have affected me. I wouldn't say to the point that I can't sleep, but I think it was when I was playing Corpse Party. It was either Corpse Party or Five Nights at Freddy's, which both of them have been quite some time now. But that was back when I was filming in my bedroom. So I had this exact same microphone. It's got one of the stands with the arms. So whenever I was done filming, I would pull the arm up and then it was right next to my bed. You guys can watch some of my old videos and know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you can see the bed in frame. But that's where obviously I slept. So there were several times where I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd see this like tall silhouette of something, and that would end up freaking me out until I realized it was my microphone and nothing else, not someone like standing over me. But like I think that was right around when I was playing Corpse Party, if not Five Nights at Freddy's with like the animatronics. But other than that, I feel like I've gotten a little bit better when it comes to handling the game concepts. When I was filming in the living room of that same apartment, some of you guys might know that there's a mirror like right next to where I was sitting. So there were a couple times where I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye move. Obviously it was me, but when you're playing a scary game, you're like, what was that? Something's happening. So there were moments like that where I would freak myself out, but lately I've been doing a lot better, I think. At least I hope so. There may be some other nightmare-inducing games in the future, but as of right now, I seem to be handling myself pretty well. Another question, what other visual novels do you plan on playing? That really depends on what comes out. I'm definitely waiting for Steins Gate Zero to come out. I thought they had a specific date for it. I had it pre-ordered, but now it seems like the release date's up in the air, so I don't know when that one's going to come out. Another game that I really want to play is going to be Root Letter. Apparently it's supposed to be like a Phoenix Wright for adults, which seems really interesting and intriguing. I don't know how strict the Japanese game companies are going to be if I pick it up the day it comes out and start playing it and posting it on the channel. But other than that, there are a lot of other visual novel style games that I do want to play. Higurashi would be one that I would love to play, but as I've said before, you're only allowed to play up to a certain chapter and I have to stop it. So I don't think I'll be playing that one anytime soon. If I have some downtime, I may play it in my own free time, but that time seems to be a little bit limited right now. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's any other visual novel that I was thinking of. There were some that was like, oh, what was it called? Ever 17, that's what it was called. That was the other game that I was thinking about playing. So there have been some other ones. I've been kind of gravitating towards older games because of the fact that that way they've been out for so long that I feel like the Japanese companies won't attack me for playing them. I hope. There's some that I want to play, obviously, like Danganronpa 3 when it comes out. I want to grab that. We did Zero Time Dilemma as soon as it came out. So there are some companies out there that are fine with it. But with Japan, it's always like a roll of the die to see whether or not they're going to say something. And it sucks. It really sucks, but that's kind of the world we live in. So we'll see what other ones may pop up, but there's plenty of really cool visual novel games out there and plenty of cool publishers. So I think we'll be in the safe for at least the next few months to come. What anime gave you the most feels? That's a hard question. I don't think there's been a lot of animes that I've watched that have been like emotionally charged. Most of the ones that I watch are like mysteries or, like adventure ones, so they don't really hit that close to home. I know Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood has some moments in it, obviously, like with, I don't want to say too much, but we'll just name names, shall we? With like Hughes and Nina, those moments are pretty crazy. Otherwise, in Brotherhood, I love the part where Ed slams into the gate and is telling Al that he's going to come back for him. Things like that were really, really good, but there hasn't really been anything that kind of like made me just curl up in a bowl and cry. I've heard that Clannad is super sad. Never seen it. I just know that I can't play the visual novel of it. But other than that, I wonder if there's been anything else that's really kind of like hit a chord with me. I don't think so. Steins Gate, obviously, but I knew what was happening because of the visual novels. Now, the movie was really, really good. So maybe the Steins Gate movie gave me some feels too. But other than that, off the top of my head, I can't really seem to think of anything else that made me just an emotional mess. In the tradition of Honey Pop, what cup size you rockin'? Happy early 900. If you're really curious, I guess right now it's this one, like a mug. Yeah, that's the only one I have right now. It depends on how thirsty I am. Sometimes I have a bigger cup, other times it's a smaller, like, coffee mug filled with tea because I don't really like coffee that much. But yeah, my cup size depends on the day that I am filming and what I'm setting myself up to do, apparently. So I believe that's everybody's questions that they asked. Thank you guys so much for taking your time to ask these questions. I still don't know how long this video is going to be or what's going to happen with the editing. Hopefully it's entertaining and hopefully it's fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to see what you guys wanted to ask about me. I wouldn't mind doing this again, honestly. I wouldn't mind doing like a weekly or bi-weekly Ask Me segment. I don't know if we have the community for that yet, if it's big enough to really do that. But you never know. Maybe everybody will be a little bit more courageous in asking some questions. I promise I'm not going to be like super mean or harsh or anything like that. But either way, it was a ton of fun. Thank you guys so much for 900 subscribers. I can't believe we're 100 away from 1,000. Can you guys believe that? We're 100 away from 1,000 subscribers. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. How am I going to handle all you guys? I don't know what I'm going to do. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next MAMJ Let's Play. It's absolutely insane that 800 people actually came to my channel, said, yeah, this guy's videos are good and I like the games that he plays, I'm going to support it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but I'm so happy. Clearly, I didn't make 800 fake accounts and take my channel up to this level. It's all thanks to you guys. Your support for the games that I play and the videos that I make are what really make it count. So thank you so much for being amazing. Thank you for the awesome community that you guys have helped shape and create. It's just so much fun to come home and look at all the comments and the messages and just respond to everybody and, you know, see how everybody's having